All right, so with the government shutdown dragging on here, what you need to understand is that they've already completed, I believe it's 48% of Project 2025, and now they're going to put it into overdrive. Now, you do need to understand, though, they were going to do this anyway no matter what. They did it with Elon Musk illegally, right? He illegally hacked into our government and started deleting whatever programs he wanted to delete and firing whoever he wanted to fire. So they were going to do this anyway, right? So the Democrats are correct to put up a fight on healthcare for the American people. But understand, these are legislative terrorists on the right that we're dealing with. That's what they are. And so it's incumbent on the media and the Democrats to explain exactly how these people are destroying the government, because that's what they're doing. Okay, and they don't give a fuck about regular people. All right, let's walk through this. Sam Stein says, absolute savage damage done by RIFs this weekend, that means permanent firings, to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, where staffing levels appear to be near 1/3 what they were at the beginning of the year. Okay, so here's what they say. Russ Vought promised he'd use the government shutdown as an excuse to fire more federal workers, and on Friday, that the Office of Management and Budget Director made good on his word. OMB declared in a court filing that thousands of employees were being laid off across the Departments of Commerce, Education, Energy, Treasury, Health and Human Services, Housing and Urban Development, and Homeland Security, and the Environmental Protection Agency. The full extent of Vaught's actions remains unknown for a variety of reasons. The first, the administration had to scramble in certain cases to hire people back just hours after they were fired. Does that remind you of anything? It's exactly what happened with Doge and Elon. Apparently, cutting Ebola experts was done by accident. Oh, that's cold comfort, but thank you very much. The second, some of those fired were already furloughed due to the government shutdown, meaning that they could not check their email to see if they'd been let go. But to get a good sense of the devastation, consider the blow delivered to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. It's a relatively small agency with the Department of Health and Human Services with an overall budget of just $8 billion. But it plays a vital role funding, overseeing, and advising state and local programs on everything from opioid addiction treatment to suicide prevention. So in other words, without this agency, you would see overdoses absolutely skyrocket more. The agency was already reeling from the Doge firings earlier this year and rifts in July, and now appears to have lost at least 100 more employees, according to a source we consulted over the weekend. Note, this mirrors reporting from NPR. Another person we talked to who is in touch with that agency and their workers said they believe the office was now close to being 1/3 its size from the beginning of the year, where there were 900 employees. Though again, no one is entirely certain about the numbers. This latest round seems to have wiped out several divisions, including one that manages programs for special populations, including the Child, Adolescent, and Family branch. Also on the list, apparently, is a division that oversees grants for hundreds of community mental health clinics as part of an innovative program that Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had praised during his Senate confirmation hearing. So in his confirmation hearing, he said, oh yeah, we love this mental health program that we have set up. And now they're firing people in the mental health program. Which, by the way, again, and what'll happen? Next time there's a mass shooting, they'll go, it's a mental health problem, not a gun problem. And then you go, okay, but you guys cut the mental health programs. So you don't think it's a gun problem or a mental health problem. You just don't give a fuck to try to solve any problems. Oh my God. We're using words like appears, seems, and apparently because there was no official statement from HHS or anybody else in the Trump administration detailing what or who they were cutting. This is insane. Instead, journalists like us are piecing together based on what we can learn from insiders who know and who are circulating crowdsourced tallies being put together by current and former employees. What we can definitively say is that morale is in the toilet among those who are still there. Quote, none of my colleagues want to go back to work for the government, or if they do, they don't want to do the same work, one person told. Because this is what happened, guys. It used to be the case you would go work for the government for stability in your job. For stability, a good pension, right? It's not where you're going to make the most money. That's the private sector. But now there's zero stability too. So why would anybody want to go work in the government? And that's their job. I mean, that's their goal. Their goal of Russ Vought, who was one of the primary authors of Project 2025, he wants to traumatize, his words, traumatize government employees. He believes in the Curtis Yarvin idea of rage, retire all government employees. That's what he wants. He's an anarcho-capitalist like Javier Milei, who sucks so hard that he got an IMF bailout and now he's about to get a bailout from the U.S. government. So if your philosophy was so brilliant and so genius and was going to work and the economy was going to take off to the moon, why did the opposite happen? Special Ed Office wiped out at Education Department, union says. The Education Department laid off nearly everyone at the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services. Jesus Christ. So this is one of those departments they want to completely eliminate. Well, they're well on their way to doing exactly that. Breaking, Friday night massacre underway at the CDC. Dozens of disease detectives, high-level scientists, entire Washington staff, and editors of the Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report have all been riffed and received the following notices. Unbelievable. So MSNBC says, the CDC is over. RFK Jr. lays off over 1,000 employees in Friday night massacre. At the same time, they're firing CDC people. Ready? A bubbling measles outbreak in the upstate of South Carolina has forced 153 unvaccinated children out of the classroom and into quarantine for a minimum of 21 days. Seems like a great time to start mass firing people at the CDC, don't you think? When we absolutely positively need them. Seems like a great time to do it. So instead of beefing it up, which is what they should be doing, instead of being on top of it, they're laying people off. I'm telling you, man, the next pandemic, we are so fucking cooked. So cooked. So if you're keeping track, here are some of the changes that RFK has made at Health and Human Services. He limited access to the COVID vaccine. He put vaccine skeptics on the advisory panel. He fired the CDC director after 1 month because that CDC director refused to spread his junk science. He had already fired 1,260 people at the Epidemic Intelligence Service. He ended the U.S. support for the global vaccine program. He helped kick millions off Medicaid. He canceled the flu vaccine campaign. He's trying to link antidepressants to violence. He laid off thousands of HHS workers, and that number's only going up now by the day. He released a fake Maha report with made-up ChatGPT bullshit in it. There were mass resignations from people as a result of his war on the agency. He told Bernie that healthcare is not a right. And now the layup tally is going up and up and up and up and up. So this is where we're at, man. This is where we're at. This is a war on career experts at the federal government. And they're trying to loot the treasury. At the same time, they slash and burn all the agencies that actually do shit that helps people, that makes us a functioning, civilized country. So, I'm telling you, but it's gonna take a Herculean effort, bro. It's gonna take a Herculean effort just to get us back to where we were before the damage of the Trump regime, which is saying a lot because it's not like things were great. It's not like things were perfect. We were still woefully inadequate. Our social safety net wasn't anywhere near big enough. Like everybody knows the problems with the government even before Trump's damage. But this makes it so that this is, like I said, this is basically legislative terrorism, except it's not even legislative terrorism. It's executive terrorism is what it is. They don't care about the government. They don't support government workers. They don't support the government taking care of these basic functions. They want to leave everything to the private sector and let the oligarchs profit off of it and fucking shake you down and price gouge the shit out of you. That's what they want to do. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.